So today we are talking about the executive operating system. Like a computer has an operating system, similarly the humans too have an operating system. And what we want to do, we want to optimize the energy for the peak C-suite performance. Okay? That is the objective. So what is the hard truth? The hard truth is that there are only 24 hours in a day, and everyone has those many hours to do whatever is required to be done. And then we have to manage the time. The time management is a bankrupt framework at the C-suite level. So we have to manage it very properly. A CXO's ultimate constraint is not the calendar space. It is the cognitive throughput and emotional bandwidth that we are going to, discuss as we follow. That there is a lot of cognitive load. There are so much decision making that is required. If you sit in any of the board meetings and it is 4 o'clock in the evening and you are drained of all your energy, then do you think your decades of experience is going to save you and help you make a flawless capital allocation decision? Yes, no, maybe. What do you all say? If you don't have any energy, you can't put your mind onto it, so you will can never make a good decision. So at a senior leadership level, we do not manage hours, we only manage energy. So if I were to tell you that go, if you feel, yeah, I am drained of energy, can you go and buy the energy? So this is one thing, you cannot even buy it. So what do you have to do? You have to manage it. So we are now talking about the executive operating system. What is the architecture? So there are three energy engines which power the long-term peak performance of a C-suite CXO. What are the three engines? Number one, cognitive load management. What you have to do? This is the complete processing engine. Ruthlessly filter noise for signal. So you have to focus only on the signals, not on the noises. So what do you have to do? Map your calendar to the circadian biology, not the external demands. So a day is of 24 hours and there is a circadian rhythm. We all wake up in the morning. In the afternoon, we have slightly dip in energy. Evening, we feel tired. So, and at night, we all rest. So, we have to match the circadian biology with how we schedule our day. Second thing, coming to the physical vitality. So, physical fitness is non compromisable. If you are at the C-suite level, or if you are a senior leader, then if you cannot manage your physical vitality, you cannot do anything. What is the third key engine? Third is regarding that you have to have a psychological stamina as well. How can you build that? Come what may, whatever is happening in your ecosphere, are you a sponge that absorbs everything, any conversation, anything that's happening? Or are you able to practice strategic detachment, which helps you prevent absorbing the organizational anxiety? Geeta, I think recording is on, na? Okay. Now coming to the first engine, which is the cognitive load. What is cognitive load? There are multiple things happening in the organization. Do you have to put your mind in everything? No. Your job is to ruthlessly filter the signal. Just take the signal and filter away the noise. From approving multi-million dollar contracts to signing off on press releases, each activity that you do is going to deplete your energy reserve. Then coming to the asynchronous rule. What is that? That 30 minutes you put a, status update meeting. No. If you can get the synthesized information in 3 paragraphs, then you do, delete those meetings, not required. Then coming to the chronological decision architecture. So how you can, matching our day with the circadian rhythm. So first 3 to 4 hours in the morning, our prefrontal cortex, what happens? This is the brain which is taking all the decisions, is fresh. Lock this for the high stakes, ambiguous, non-linear strategic work. No routine emails, no status updates. So what it helps you in? It helps you in corporate restructuring your plans. You do the high risk vendor evaluations, all these strategic pivots. In the afternoon, when the energy levels drain a bit, then what you do? Transition to linear, low stake activities. Like what you do? Operational meetings, routine approvals, and any transactional meeting. Coming to asynchronous rule that we talked about, that if it is just a status update, just take a single pager from your team that give me a status update, and you find that everything is okay, that's good enough. Now coming to the physical vitality, it gives you the power if you are physically fit. Physical fitness is not a hobby, it is your duty to your body to be physically fit. And if you are not fit, then you will be a burnout, which is a structural risk. So, what it is said that normally the high focus time is a period of you can 90 to 120 minutes. You are able to maintain that focus. So, what we talked about, how you can, uh, build that energy. Every hour, as I mentioned, you take a breath. That helps. Then box breathing we learned last time. That you have to do. Between all the focus cycle, before a call is starting, just take a few long deep breaths. So micro recovery framework is 2 minutes between high stakes calls. Step away from the screen. Drop your shoulders consciously. You will observe that when high stakes meetings are happening, the shoulders will automatically, they move away from the normal system. They'll just come up. So just taking a breath and consciously dropping your shoulders. Execute box breathing that we talked of. Reset from the sympathetic fight or flight to a parasympathetic. Just when you take that spinal breath, you are able to come to that parasympathetic. Parasympathetic, as we learned last time, it energizes and activates our vagus nerve. And when the vagus nerve is activated within our system, we are able to take calm and clear decisions. Then talking about the spinal alignment. The spine is, our powerhouse. So it's very important. That is why it is said that, the posture is so important. And when we are continuously sitting in long meetings, it compresses the spine. And when the spine compresses, the blood flow circulation is also limited to that. So just while you are sitting in long meetings, just, you just look like sideways. Just moving a bit, deliberately taking your hands back, which opens your chest area and it allows the fresh breath and it activates the entire spine. So, these are deliberate few steps which we take to align our system. I'll take all the questions in the end, okay? So, next, talking about psychological stamina. If your internal physiological anchor is weak, then what happens? You will absorb all the anxiety of the company. So, you should learn how to strategically detach. How we can do that? That we have to, say that now my day ends at 7 or 8, whatever you decide. Don't take any official, duties after that. Just detachment. And within that also, like weekend, Sunday, okay, I'll not, look at my official things. So that boundary is very, very important to recharge and rejuvenate your mind. And a grounding ritual. That's very important. Go for a morning run. It builds your physical vitality also and it builds your psychological stamina as well. Meditation that you are doing every morning, that also builds your mindfulness, and it gives you a psychological buffer zone, and you are able to detach from your organizational load. Now we are talking about concentrated isolation protocol. Don't be constantly accessible. If you are constantly accessible, you are reactive. Build walls around your mind. Why do you want to build it? To maintain psychological stamina, create deliberate barriers against constant accessibility. If you are constantly accessible morning, evening, afternoon, night to your boss, then all the time you are in the working zone. So give that break to your mind. Default mode network activation. Complete disengagement from active problem solving allows the brain to synthesize complex information subconsciously. So, you need that detachment and default mode network activation periods. Objective observation over personalization. That mindfulness meditation, if you practice, then it will allow you to stay that calm whenever that crisis is happening within the organization. So now if we this is a kind of a calibration matrix from theory to execution, just auditing. So in the morning, if you are 8 a.m., you are checking the emails from your bed. It will hijack your prefrontal cortex and set reflective tone. 10 to 12, if you are trying to do back to back transactional meetings, it is wasting your peak energy. Rather, what you have to do, dedicate solely to high stakes decision making and deep work. So what will it do? It will accelerate your execution. In the 4 p.m., there is a risk of decision fatigue. So if you want to do something important like review critical cross-border M&A or a procurement strategy, then you have all these risks: decision fatigue, leader overlooking the critical blind spots. So better reschedule it to 9 a.m. Afternoon, you just reserve for stakeholder relationship management. 6 hours of consecutive meetings without a physical break. Then your brain will enter into permanent cognitive hijack. Shallow breathing, it will become. Just observe yourself when you are in a long meetings. See how the body is. Just observe your breath, observe your spine, observe your shoulders. It will come like this, and you're this. Then the energy flow will also reduce. So, just if you are the boss leading the meeting, just make a 50 minutes meeting. 10 minutes, keep for your hydration and your spinal reset. So, then what will happen? You will have your executive presence, and sustained physical vitality even at 6 p.m. in the evening. So this is your alignment schedule, that you are, you're doing your calendar audit. Are you monitoring your calendar, and are you ready for the next day? Just audit your calendars. Okay, now I'll take all questions. Something was coming in the. Yeah, good. Now we have a question time. What are the questions?
Can you please go back to that the physical one, the physical slide, the physical activity one?
When did you join, Kalyan?
When you started the presentation.
Oh, acha, good.
Oh.
Okay. So what's your question? I can just take it without the slide as.
Uh, I think. Ah, so this one. So this talks about uh, um, so when it says physical activity, it's not focusing on a typical sort of routine that you maintain on a daily
Yes,
basis.
yes, definitely. We spoke about it. See what happens, physical vitality, and we have talked about the psychological stamina. So actually, it's all combined. You cannot see these three engines as separate. So every morning, go for a run or do some, go to the gym. So when you don't have that vitality, then you are not, in sync with whatever is happening around you. As a leader, if you are, if I'm sleeping and I'm talking to you, will you be, in my energy to understand the topic?
Mm.
So, it is important that the leader always has that energy so that he can drive and bring people into his energy zone. So what's your question? Is it getting answered, or you have some anything further?
Yeah, so what I was trying to understand is, so is this the physical activity in between those
No,
demanding
no. It
8 hour
what it is
cycles,
saying is,
or a
that's why
regular?
it has got your point.
Mm,
So it is, what it is saying is that for your psychological stamina, go for a run in the morning. That we spoke about. I'll just show that slide also. But for the vitality during the workday, what you do, because the mind has the capability to maintain its focus 90 to 120 minutes at least, with bit of glitches here and there, you are able to maintain that focus for 1.5 to 2 hours. So at least what you can do, just in between that, as we spoke about, that spinal breath every hour, that brings that energy back. And whenever you get that time, you practice the box breathing. This is a kind of, I will say, a habit, that needs to be cultivated, because it's not easy. If you think that today you can do that, no, it won't happen. So you have to kind of alarm yourself after and every hour, that when you see that that breath, and then you see the change. And when it's a very long meeting, sometimes board meetings run for 3 hours, 4 hours, then you can't say I'm exercising in between. But discreetly, just you can just look back, and after a while just look. It's a kind of a spinal stretch. And then what happens? Because if you look, after sitting for very long hours, our breath becomes shallow. We start breathing from the chest area. So you
mm,
again bring back your attention and bring your breath from the base of the spine to the top of the head. And what you can do is just take your shoulders slightly back. Just see that chest opens up. And when the chest opens, that breadth of energy, the oxygen taking capability, that increases. It just talks about that. Does it answer your question, Kalyan?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. So here it says, that take that time to run every day and then meditate, mindfulness,
Yeah.
which you are already doing.
Can you please repeat that asynchronous meetings that you were going through?
Yeah. So what is asynchronous meeting means is that what happens, we have the habit that, we want to put these team meetings. So every week,
Mm,
as a like, I have put my calendar for 6 months together. That every Monday I'll have meeting with this team, Tuesday I'll have with this team. So what this says is, ki don't waste too much energy in asynchronous meeting. Better what you do, take a one-page report. You jot down your framework. Like for me, what is important? What are my procurement requests that are coming, which are out of TAT? Aging is more than 30 days because my TAT is 30 days. So if it is exceeding, if it becomes more than 25 days, I should see that, deviations report. Am I able to see those outliers? So just before you enter into a meeting, you get that, what you want to see. Just 5 minutes you spend rather than wasting an hour in the meeting. Then that meeting you can conclude in 15-20 minutes because you already have
okay,
that data.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah, anything else? Any other question? Rajesh?
No, but we are good. I'm good. So, I think it's practice
Ravikant?
that's important. Yeah.
Hmm?
The practice is important, right? Whatever you have,
That is the key thing.
it's important.
So we are learning all the concepts which helps us navigate and maneuver from a senior leader to a CXO role. And these are, I would say, power packed modules which really give us that, strength of the body, strength of the mind,